So yeah, Hi-Fi Rush came out last week. We've both been playing it quite a lot. You've made it to level 3. I've made it to level 7. Essentially, I work full time, and when I'm not in work, I'm playing Hi-Fi Rush. I'm really enjoying it. We on Xbox the Box. We decided to have a 10-point scale. Is that what we agreed on?
Yes,
that's what we agreed on That's what we agreed on when we did as Just Falls last year. So, this is our review. We're not technically, neither of us have finished it, so we might change our mind. But this is our review at the moment as we stand, as played it like a couple of hours each. So, do you want to give it a number out of 10? And I'll give it a number out of 10, and we'll go with the average.
I'll start. I would say.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to say. That's a really tricky thing because it's got a shadow launch, and I've been aiming, but I'm going to give it 8.5 for now because it could be 9 out of 10, but it really depends. But I certainly have a lot of fun with it, and I do really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Plus, it's a bit linear, but I think it just focuses on like the challenge and having to stick to the rhythm. But the rhythm doesn't actually take in as a huge core part of the gameplay. So therefore, it's just like it's just basically a hack and slash game. Only if you're really good at rhythm games, then you might actually have a huge benefit. But it's not something that is totally integral to the gameplay. But I do find the style is like really fantastic. But then it could be just the evolution of the cel-shaded graphics there. And I think they could have done a lot more. Like they could have had half-tone shading on like some of the characters, like they did, because in the animation scenes, it's like they use half-tone shading, but it's not in the game, so it's a bit disappointing. But apart from that, it's just like it's definitely worth checking out, like especially if you have Game Pass. But yeah, it's just really nice.
So you're saying the rhythm's going to get you? The rhythm's going to get you. The rhythm's going to get you.
Well, I'm going to have to eventually
younger people will not get that reference.
Yeah.
I'm going to fix the music. Yeah, younger people will not get that reference, but yeah. For me, Hi-Fi Rush is a 9 out of 10. So I guess we'll say 9 out of 10 for both of us, because you said 8.5, or we could say 8.75 out of 10.
Oof. I'm really surprised. I thought you were going to give it... I thought you were going to give it like 10 out of 10.
No, I wouldn't give it quite a 10 out of 10. I'm enjoying it, but I wouldn't quite give it a 10 out of 10. It's not 100% perfect, but I really enjoyed it for what it is. What was I going to say?
It has a stat where you pet the cat like many times. It even like shows it up on the Xbox app. How could you not give it a 10 out of 10?
You're right, 10 out of 10 for petting the cat. No, but yeah, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. So it has the quality. So, okay, I've just lost my concentration there. Okay, so the gameplay is up there with the top of the class, the top of this generation, the top of this genre, the action hack and slash game. This has the same kind of gameplay as a God of War or a Bayonetta, and it does it just as well. And it also adds a twist to it with the rhythm aspect. If you have good rhythm, it really adds to it. If you have bad rhythm, it doesn't really affect you too much. But I feel like the rhythm aspect adds to it, and it has similar gameplay to a Bayonetta or a God of War, and it works really well. Or Devil May Cry, I suppose, is another option. I think they do all those very well. I think the gameplay is fantastic. I like platforming. I like exploring. I think it's really fun. I think the world is amazing. I feel like it has a good sense of humor. It's like Scott Pilgrim meets the world. Kind of, it's got a Edgar Wright kind of feel to it. It's got good comedy. The art style is beautiful. I mean, it's people slagging off the graphics. I don't understand it, because I think this is one of the most beautiful games on the Xbox. I think it's fantastic. The art style, the cel shading, it just really pops and really is vibrant, and it stands off the screen. There's a lot of games that are like greys and browns, and it's like a Call of Duties or a Gears of War or a God of War or Last of Us. It's just grey and drab and depressing, whereas this is all light and colourful and it pops off the screen. And the art style is amazing. The characters are really likable. You have a cat called 808 who's amazing. You have a really cool ensemble of characters. I really like Chai, the main character. I really like the world, even though it's a bit ridiculous and a bit silly, but it has a good vibe to it. It's funny and in a good way, because some games try and be funny and it just doesn't work. Whereas this game is fantastic and it's really well written, and I would give this a 9 out of 10. I think this is one of the best games on Xbox, and I really hope they do a Hi-Fi Rush 2. I really hope this becomes a series and it's not just a one-off. I really enjoyed this, and I really hope there's more of it. And I think if this is what you're going to shadow drop Xbox, just keep doing it, because it was amazing and it totally blew all my expectations out of the water of what a shadow drop game could be. This is incredible. 9 out of 10. Didn't give it quite a 10 out of 10 because it's not like quite up there with Elden Ring or Breath of the Wild for me as like, genre defining games. When you put it up against other hack and slash games, it's up there and is on par, if not better, than some of the games best in this genre. I think it's a fantastic game, and I would really highly recommend it to anyone who likes hack and slash games, likes rhythm games, and likes games with a bit of a sense of humor. I think this is going to be a cult classic, or this is going to be a game that we look back at in the next 5-6 years and go look fondly at. It's like, oh, do you remember Hi-Fi Rush? Oh yeah, that game was amazing. I hope they remake it, or this will be a cult classic. This is a game that people are going to look back on fondly. And I love it, and I couldn't recommend it anymore.
Yeah, I know.
I'm rambling a bit now, but
yeah,
I couldn't recommend it any higher than that.
It's interesting you say about color, because if you said this to me, who was back in 2007, then I would be both like totally on to try out games that has more vibrant color schemes compared to the drab grittiness of like Gears of War and bits, because it's definitely rife with lots of games and movies where it just relies on the desaturation to add that grittiness. But I think, to be honest, it's also another part of me that I think I was going to say that people would probably not dig into it because they are particularly used to those kind of games where it has desaturation, and they feel it's pretty much okay rather than having to go for more colorful, kid-friendly graphics, though. But this one is just definitely not like for kids, but still like packs this punch. So I think this is really fantastic. So should we mention the final scores of this one?
Just also wanted what you were saying there also reminds me of like the Wind Waker discourse when people were talking about Wind Waker back in the day. It looks too childish. Well, when you look back at Wind Waker, and it's one of the most beautiful games ever made, and it holds up better than most games that came out around that time period. I think Cell Shaded is a game that, when it's done well, it could be really beautiful and really well done. And I think this is a game that's going to stand the test of time. We're going to look back at this in like 10 years' time, and it'll still look just as pretty. It's really, really beautiful game.
I would say that I think there's much of a discourse, like with many people saying it's not looking great. I think a lot of it is just stemmed from the beta footage, where it's like more like plasticine type of graphics, and it does look a bit weird. But when the Wind Waker came out, it's more redefined, and now it just looks as one of the best looking games ever made. So
this is true. I love the art style of Hi-Fi Rush. I love the gameplay of Hi-Fi Rush. I love the characters, the writing, the music. Maybe I should give it a 10 out of 10, but I just there's something about it. I just don't feel like I give it a 10 out of 10. I don't think it's quite there. I don't know. I don't think it's one of my favorite games of all time, but it's definitely my front runner for Game of the Year at the moment, even though we're only in January. As I said, it's not quite up there with Elden Ring or Breath of the Wild for me, which is the games I would give 10 out of 10s to. But it's damn close. I mean, it's still a little, if it was I don't know. It's not quite a 10 out of 10. 9 out of 10, though, I don't give 10 out of 10s right. I give 10 out of 10s really rare. It's literally I'll only give like 4 or 5 games in my life a 10 out of 10. So I'm very picky when it comes to the 10 out of 10 reward. I don't just give it out willy nilly. So 9 out of 10 for me. A fantastic game.
And
Worth playing.
And I still stand with 8.5 out of 10. But as you're saying about 10 out of 10s for games, I think I definitely felt like giving out full 10s to a few games. Not that I've done a lot of reviews, but the ones. But I would rather pick games that actually influenced me and feel it stays with me for a long time without having to be overly concerned about the scores. Like Shadow of the Colossus is one of those games that I would give a full 10 out of 10 because even though it's a bit shallow, it still gives you that really fantastic experience. And
Shadow of the Colossus up there, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And
definitely.
And I also really enjoyed Bayonetta. The original Bayonetta is just so amazing. But then again, it's just I don't know whether that's gonna hold the test of time. But it could be a potential full 10 out of 10. But to me, I just really think that Hi-Fi Rush is, like you said, it's a cult classic. But it's just definitely not hitting 10 out of 10 unless it actually gives an everlasting experience. But to me, I think it still really amazes me, and I think it'll be so good. Now, you're probably thinking I'm definitely one of these people who prefer the latest God of War games, and I know I could be biased, especially I don't have a PlayStation and I haven't played them before. But I would definitely imagine that I would go as far as giving 9 out of 10, and I think the original God of War 4, is it? I don't know.
Yeah.
That one I would give a much higher score compared to Ragnarok, which Ragnarok actually is more narrative driven, but I think there's enough reasons to suggest that there's a little bit of fatigue compared to the original, which I think is actually better in comparison. But I don't think it's particularly fair to compare both that and Hi-Fi Rush for me. But you're certainly comparing it to God of War and feel that Hi-Fi Rush could be actually huge.
Yeah, I mean, for me, so I like God of War. I enjoyed God of War 2018, but as you just said, I feel like Ragnarok is too similar to 2018 to me. It's not done enough different stuff for it. I beat 2018 last year, so I beat it late, and I feel like now I'm playing Ragnarok. I'm I've played this game already. I'm kind of bored. I'm kind of meh. It's kind of felt a bit samey. Whereas Hi-Fi Rush, I'm really enjoying it, and I feel like the rhythm stuff adds to it. I like the art style. I like the characters, and it's got a similar gameplay where it's you got a heavy attack, a light attack, a counter, a roll. You have a character that does. You have assistants. You have extra people and stuff. It's and you can make different combos and specials and stuff. So it has all that in it, which is the same as God of War. But I just I prefer. I feel it's more charming Hi-Fi Rush, and I feel like just the world is. I just prefer the world of Hi-Fi Rush, personally. And I feel like I've already played God of War Ragnarok when I played 2018. I feel like there's not enough difference for me. That's why I don't get it when he was winning all the Game of the Year awards last year. I felt like Elden Ring was an evolution of games design, whereas I felt God of War was kind of the same game we already played 4 years ago, and not really much changed. It's looks slightly prettier because it's on PS5, but it's the same game. It's plot's slightly different, but I don't give a crap about plot. I'm a gameplay over story any day person. That's why Vampire Survivors is one of my favorite games of last year, even though there's nothing to it. It's just basic as hell. But the gameplay is fantastic, and the gameplay trumps everything for me. And I feel like the gameplay in Hi-Fi Rush is better than the gameplay in God of War. And I like the art style, and I like the characters, and I like the world, and I like the music. So, sue me. I know you're not going to. I know a lot of people disagree with me, but I don't care. That's my personal opinion, even if it is a hot take. So we're going to give Hi-Fi Rush a 9 out of 10. But Alice is giving it an 8.5 out of 10, even though didn't we say we're not going to do 0.5s? Okay, so this is an 8.75 out of 10. It's a bit complicated.
How about we sell 9 out of 10 between
Well,
us?
let's just say 9 out of 10. Yeah. So Hi-Fi Rush is a 9 out of 10. We highly recommend it. It is one of the best in the genre. The hack and slash genre is one of the best. It's a good rhythm game. Highly recommend it to anyone. The art style is fantastic. It has an Edgar Wright type story. It's funny. The characters are likable. The characters are colorful and vibrant. And the world's all colorful and vibrant. And the rhythm is going to get you. The rhythm's going to get you. The rhythm's going to get you. Thank you for listening to the X Marks the Box podcast. Follow us at X Marks Box on Twitter or X Marks the Box on YouTube. And follow us on all audio podcast services. Thanks for listening.